Okay, here we've got another modification of Mike's hand trommel. Ignore the motor on the right wobbling around, my shaft's a little off there. But here we have a motorized version of it right here. We added that on there. The quick disconnect on it. It'll actually get mounted to this piece right here pretty quick, and it'll be sitting more like this, so it'll be kind of flat. Yeah, it's a little wobbly. A couple differences. You might be able to see those bars on the inside rolling around there. Those are, hold on, let's just do this real quick. Go down here and pop that off. Those bars in there, see them down in there? They're tumbler bars. You can see, get a look at them here, how they all rotate around that main central axis right there. I saw a couple of trommels for sale that have those in there, and I know that the Cajuns used to use them for, you put bars in these big baskets like this to roll the shrimp around to get the shells off so you could have a dried shrimp. The point of that being that those bars pick up the dirt and clumps of it, and it drops back down and hits the wire and kind of breaks itself up a little bit. Another change, you'll see that the front bucket's a lot deeper. I went full 12 inches because I want to get, let's look out inside this bad boy. See that wire is up inside that bucket a little higher, and how down here it's only a couple inches. Up there it's a lot more. Now the brackets, ignore the brackets, how they got them switched back and forth compared to his normal one. This is just a little experiment I did. It's not, didn't really do anything for me. It didn't really do anything against it, but it's more a pain in the butt than anything to put them staggered like that. But if you get up there, you can see how that wire is way up in the bucket itself. My thought was that I want that rock, rock and caliche and dirt, as it mixes around, I want to hit that wire and get a really good chance to break up some. These pipes might look like they're crooked as they spin around, but they're not. They're actually lined up perfectly straight and rolling down with the wire as a liner. There's lots and lots of extra. You see all these fender washers going through. That was a little bit of a mistake on my part when I was trying to lock everything down. This is a third prototype on this one, but the first type with this extended bucket like this with the wire in the inside, as opposed to Mike's, who originally had it on the outside. I can see why I did that, but I wanted that wire down in there as a little abrasive, I guess you could say, something for it to knock against. And from what I can tell, let me walk back over here, a lot of trommels I've seen on the market, the wire gap here, this point here to this point over yonder, are fairly small to a degree. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some regular sized are bigger. This for when I put the bucket, the chute that's going to go underneath that eventually, I want to have a more narrow catch area. And I figured too, if it's up here in this top bucket and that wire breaking up, time it gets down here, it'll be ready to fall through. So that's why I did that. I'm going to put a little bucket down there with a chute on the bottom of it, so it actually collects, and will actually collect in about a 4-inch. It'll all run down and collect to a point. So I have to put this part in here. You're probably asking, Jeff, what did you do? What is this thing? Well, this is the spray bar. I'm basically turning Mike's hand trommel here into an entire wash plant. You can kind of see the holes there. Top, I think they're spaced at 2 inches. Down here they're at 1.5 or something like that. Put these little feet on there. See, that's extra T right here and over there, as opposed to Mike's, who only has the two T legs. My leg is a little bit taller right now because I was working on them. One just had a little bit of working height for me, so did that. I'll cut them down eventually. But there's mounted on there with simple zip ties. They come down to this. It's all 3/4 inch pipe. This will come down, tee off, and have two 1,100 gallon per minute pumps. They'll come into this. This is a standard old masonry tub, little 9-gallon, I think is what it is. Yeah, 9-gallon mixing tub. And I cut it down in the front. Basically what I did up here, you see these little, you kind of see these ridges right there. I took those ridges and made a triangle, cut down about 5.5 inches. And it comes to this point down here, so it all kind of, it's got a much better taper. You throw anything in there, it's coming down to that center point. And I put that together, put machine screws down there to hold it together. So you can see that whole top part's missing. There's no hole in it yet. I haven't drilled that out yet. This is the first time I really had it running, so I want to get it going and see what it looks like. You throw anything up there on top. That's not a hole, by the way. It's just this part right here. It's not a hole. That's just a piece of plastic. It all runs down to this point, right down there. You can see where actually the rain earlier washing the dust down to the hole. That's where it'll all come out. Then go through the trommel back down. The whole idea of this, all these modifications, is to make this eventually into a recirculating wash plant. The ones I've seen online are $1,200, $1,400, $1,500, so they're a little pricey. So this is a motorized version of it, quiet, so nobody needs to know what you're out doing in your own claim, which is something that I prefer discretion, as I mentioned in another video. So hopefully this will be a fairly quiet deal. Now one thing, this too, these, let me do some conversions real quick. So I'm gonna pop this off, turn this off right there, pull that wire out, and kind of go down here and pop up. Because you don't always know when you don't need it. This comes off. Technically comes off. Wow, this is a jumpy video. Hope you haven't been drinking. It'll probably get you confused. Alright, see that? Now we're back to plain old motorized trommel. And then you're like, well, Jeff, that's really nice and all, but what happens when the battery dies? Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Hold on. Well, anyway. That pops out, that pops out. Motor comes off, theoretically. There you go. You see that's kind of scored up a little bit. It's got a couple holes in it. Great, my drill holes are off. Anyway, there's your drill holes. And it's been sanded down. You put this in, right there. Drop the bolt back in. You can see how new it is. I still got my shavings in there. I haven't even cleaned those out yet. Anyway, theoretically, we're not going to do all this right. Yeah, we will. Okay, here we go. Put that in. Put that in. Turn that bad boy over a little bit. And yeah, this is the, ooh, look. Yeah, damn it. Anyway, you get the idea that once you do that, you can go back to hand cranking it if it actually, the battery completely dies on you. So you're still in business as far as that goes. Pop it off, put the handle back on, you're good to go in, what was that, 45 seconds tops? And in addition to this, in addition to the spray system bucket I'm going to put in there, I've also thought about doing something similar on the bucket on top, but with a different motor. Putting a motor on top of it as well to shake it a little bit. So if you can throw dirt up on top, it would shake it down, vibrate it down, and then put it into the chute. It would. All right, so let's look at it. It would be up here in the tub. It would be vibrating, shakes down, falls into the chute down here, comes to the chute, through here, down there, and then feed into your dry washer. So you could have this whole thing is essentially a convertible, plain manual trommel with the potential to make it into a wet wash plant, and potential to make it into a dry wash plant. That's the whole idea here. I mean, even though dry washers generally, you throw the dirt up there one time and it you know, it kicks down, rolls down it, like, you know, most of them are vibrating enough that it rolls down. You don't have to worry about cleaning the rocks out. But you could do that here if you needed to as well. So there you go. That's a Mike's trommel turned into a motorized convertible wash plant. Hopefully this one will look better the next time, because this still got a lot of screws and nuts and bolts and things. There's all these fender washers just everywhere that don't need to be. But that's it, and hopefully I'll be taking another video pretty soon of it all fired up once I get this end. Oh, this one I wanted to show too. I mean, this is kind of a weird deal. How I got the motor. It actually sits inside this old junky old Sterilite container. You could use a junction box in that. This is a geared motor, so it has a little good enough torque. And then, as you kind of saw, that you can't even turn it too much. How it just slides on there. But I think when I put this is a 1/2-inch piece right here that goes into 1/2-inch pipe that goes into a 1/2-inch to 1-inch reducer to put on this 1-inch coupling that goes into the 1" up here handle. That's the best I could figure out tonight when I was at Home Depot and I was ready to come home and make some chicken, which I did. It was good stuff. So there we go. This is a reiteration of Mike's hand trommel. I'm gonna call it Foerster's wash plant once I finally get all the parts and pieces and the parts list worked up, because some of this is still a little bit of a work in progress here and there. Oh, you can kind of see here what I did on that inside, that bar down there. What would that be considered? Agitation bar. I have a heat gun, and I melted the end of that. That's 3/4 inch pipe. You could use 1/2 inch if you wanted to. I used 3/4, and took a heat gun, warmed it up, crimped it down so that if you're doing the water, you don't want any water going into the hole and out the back and losing it. So I crimped the front end shut, and those machine screws in there, they're number 10 by 2 inch. Could have got away with a number 10 by 1.5, but I'll probably end up taking a cut-off saw, maybe a little hand grinder with the cut-off disc, and cut that down. But here it is. I'll take a look from this end so you can see. And there she is. Tiring's real nice and free. I haven't even lubed the joints yet, but that's the newest iteration. I got 3 of them in there, by the way. Newest iteration of Mike's hand trommel made into Foerster's wash plant. If you have any questions, by all means, shoot me a comment. I'll get back with you whenever it pops up on my email. So happy gold hunting, folks.